Welcome to Big Reptile Talk. Today we're sitting down with Ryan from VivTech Products. Man, he is a innovator. He's doing some iconic stuff. How you doing today, sir?
Dude, I'm doing awesome. It's a good day.
Man. I love what you are doing over there, you and your lady. I kind of wanted to first ask you just talk to me about, what made you step out on faith and start your own company? What motivated you to do that?
A big part of it was I've always thought that there's a bigger place in the industry for better technology, better husbandry equipment, but being able to be brought to people in a way that was financially available for them. Everything doesn't have to be so expensive. And after being in the industry and seeing, every aspect of anybody that has anything to do with reptiles, whether it be veterinarian, biologist, zoology, their hobby, all of it. I've seen every side of it. I kind of realized where some of the weaknesses were and where we could really do something big. And the jumping out on my own thing was definitely scary, but having, a lot of support from the community and from Erica and our family and stuff, like it just made sense. It just lined up. The time was right. So we just took the plunge and did it. And it's awesome. There's so much cool stuff coming too. Like just these lights are nothing. This is just the tiniest bit of what people are seeing. There's way more coming.
Right. I love what y'all are doing. Now, I'm going to tell you the first time I was actually not introduced to you, but the first time I actually saw your face, can you guess when it was?
Dave Kaufman video?
Actually, no. I'm going to tell you when it was. So don't curse me out, y'all, but I was getting some crickets. I think I was at PetSmart. I was getting some crickets, and I was wanting to price match something. And I was on PetSmart website, and it ended up actually taking me to Zilla. And I don't know what I clicked, but I seen your face with a long ass biography, and I was like, "This dude running Zilla." I was like, I gotta talk to him. So tell me, like, how long were you with Zilla?
I started with Zilla January, right at the beginning of the year in 2015, and I ran Zilla for 6 years.
I said, this is a big dog, and now that you left Zilla, you started VivTech. So VivTech is fairly new. How long have y'all been around?
We officially launched, as a company, we've been on the books since the beginning of the year, but we officially launched our company at Schaumburg 2 weeks ago. So it's very new. So it's very new.
I love that. I love seeing people step out on faith and follow their dreams. Now, we're going to jump into the interview. I kind of wanted to talk to you and just, what was the first reptile that you ever got that did it for you? Like, you know what? This is it. I love reptiles. What was your first reptile?
I don't have that story of like I got a reptile. I knew it was it. I've played with toads and frogs and garter snakes and salamanders since as far back as I can ever remember. My first memory of reptiles was when I was 4 and playing with like 200 baby toadlets that I found around this pond at a family reunion, and just filled up little cups with toadlets and then just dumped them all around me and played with them. Like that's my earliest memory, but I apparently was jumping in ponds after frogs and stuff before that. So
right.
That's just a bit in me all the time. I don't know. It's just always been a thing.
So reptiles been a thing for you since you was a kid.
Yep. Yeah. Since I don't ever remember not being fascinated by them.
Right. Now, when was, did you introduce Erica to reptiles, or was she kind of into reptiles before she met you?
Oh, she was into it before she met me. She actually spent 15 years as an exotic specialty certified vet tech. She's written a chapter for an emergency exotics book. She's taught at colleges and universities and stuff around the country. She's lectured everywhere. She was on the board for ARAV. She has her own reptile rescue that she's ran for 10 years. Like, she didn't need me. She's cooler than me without. You shouldn't need me. she's cool. She's something else on her own. She's honestly one of my people I look up to in the industry, and so it's pretty cool that I get to spend every day with her.
I love that. See that? This is a power couple, man, doing some iconic stuff. Now, before we actually talk about some of the stuff VivTech is doing?
Yeah.
Talk to me about your personal collection. What is it looking like? About how many animals? What are y'all doing over there with y'all personal collection?
So I used to have like 300 geckos and tons of different stuff, and eventually it became a job, and it just got stressful, and I got to a point where I was like, you know what? If everything I had was worth nothing, and I just kept and bred stuff that I gave the babies away, and I just did it because I loved it, what would I keep? And then that totally changed everything I keep. And with my twin, the kids and stuff, it was just not enough time for geckos anymore, so I moved more into snakes. And now we do a lot with, we work with 2 species of monitor that we're completely focused on, peacock monitors and spinulosus monitors. And then our python collection is basically Indonesian, South Pacific, and Australian. So blackheads, Woma pythons, Timor pythons, savus, maclots, yeah, a bunch of stuff like that. Basically everything that wants to bite me in the face.
I'm jealous, man. I need to come see that collection. Now, what in your collection, man, what's probably one of the worst bites you ever took?
Man, to be honest, like some of the monitor bites, they suck. I've got a monitor, male spinulosus I'm working with on training, and I can get him to come up onto my hand and stuff, which is awesome because, like, we're talking about an animal that will go absolutely nuts if it gets a glimpse of you. Doesn't want anything to do with people, so it's taken me a year to get him to, like, walk onto my hand and take a pinky from tongs. But, like, he'll test bite me, like he's tasting me, kind of. And even just this little test, like, baby pinch cuts me open pretty good. So they've got some good teeth on them.
Now I kind of want to dive into the light bulb because I've been doing a little research on it, man. I think it's iconic, man. It's I want you to kind of give me the rundown on it. It's 3 watts.
Yep. So it's this 3 different bulbs we came out with. The first, and one thing too. So they're 3 watts. They last up to 10,000 hours, which is roughly 4 to 5 years of use. And from all the testing that I have from our manufacturer we're working with, as well as our own testing, I'm pretty positive that the bulbs will burn out before the UV needs to be replaced. So far, after over a year of testing, we're not getting any drop in UV at all. That's exciting for me because it's finally a bulb that as long as it's on, you're good. Instead of having, like, no mom and kid are going to buy a $250 solar meter to check their bulb. They just assume that if the bulb's on, it's working. But that's not the case. So with these, that changes that. And then we broke them into 3 different outputs. One is a high output, and we called it Midday Blaze. I refuse to call anything desert or tropical. I refuse, because it's stupid. It's a stupid way for us to categorize animals. Because every time you see a desert box, it's the dunes of the Sahara. And then when you see a tropical box, it's the rainforest floor. There's a crap load of stuff in between that. Like, we're designing things for 0.1% of the animal's habitats. So instead, we did Midday Blaze, which is midday basking animals. Animals that'll be out during the middle of the day, equatorial. The highest needing reptiles, UV needing reptiles, don't live in the desert. They live in the Caribbean, on islands. They're the rock iguanas. Those guys live on white sand beaches at the equator and sit on a rock in the middle of the day. They get just blasted with UV. So those guys actually have the highest need. So I don't want to call it desert because it doesn't make sense. Next one is our jungle cover, and that's more, I guess, your tropical species, your stuff that's going to have cover above it, your North American species that live in, like, grass and plains and things like that. So it's filtered light. They're not getting direct sun at the equator. And then the last one is called First Call, and that one's for your frogs and your crepuscular geckos and snakes and things like that. It's a low output UVB with a high output UVA and plant light in it. So you get a lot of that natural behaviors and more UVA for them. You'll end up with better, more natural behaving animals.
Man, y'all hear this? This is iconic. This is an industry first, a light bulb that does everything.
And I think I'm slowly finding out. I believe we're the first people in the world to that isn't a random manufacturer out of somewhere who knows what, putting it on Amazon. We're the first actual company to launch UV LED bulbs in the world. Right. So look at this. Game changer for sure. This is iconic, man. Now, I gotta ask you, are y'all strictly right now doing online sales? And in the future, do you see yourself not just doing online sales, but trying to bridge and getting into the stores? And if not, why? Oh, no, we're absolutely going to get into the stores. I'm not planning on doing any of the major retailers. I really want to get people back to the mom, pop, the independent stores, the stores where they can people are there to take time to talk to you and help you have a good, successful experience with your animal. So those are the people that we're going to support. The major chains, maybe if they beg me enough. They're gonna have to sign my contract for purchase, which they're not going to appreciate. So I don't think it'll happen. But no, I really just want to support like the local places, and then as well as online. So shipping to the UK and stuff like that. I'm hoping by this time next year I will have distribution in. I have distributors that have already called me from the UK, Europe, Australia, Asia, Canada, South America. So I'm working on distribution and having fulfillment set up in those areas. Canada is probably going to be first just because I've got some good relationships up there. And then there's more coming for Australia and the other places. So it'll get out there. It's going to take some time. I appreciate everybody's patience, but basically I got to sell through everything. And we had the opportunity to have some really big investors jump in on this business with us. And we decided not to because me and Erica both care more about the industry and the hobby and husbandry than we really give a crap about making money. And I want to be able to we both want to be able to be in control of how this company moves forward so that we keep those pillars of conservation, husbandry, and innovation in the front of what we're doing without having anybody else being able to influence that. So we're doing it on our own, but that just means we got to go a little bit slower because my bank account's not as big as a lot of my friends. So we definitely will get there. I'm hoping within the next 3 months to have enough stock to start doing wholesale to pet stores, and we're going to ship to them direct. So hopefully help them make more money and be able to have the right equipment and information to give out to people. So it's coming. Just be patient. Keep buying stuff on the website. The more that people support us, the quicker I can get them out there.
Right. So, Kara Shay, you want to know, is it on the market yet, and where can you buy? I believe you just said it's online right now.
Yep.
So you go to VivTechProducts.com. You can order straight through there, and just keep on the lookout for some of the stuff that they're doing. But it is out. It did launch, Kara Shay.
Yeah, and then there's also like on the first call page, we're out of that bulb. There's more coming. You can actually sign up for email updates there and some other places on the website. So jump on and do that. And when new stock comes in, when new updates come in, when new products come in, you'll be first one to hear about it if you're on that list.
Right. Now, we're going to come back to the light bulb. I think it's so iconic, but we're definitely going to come back to it. I got to ask about, I can't pronounce, Exergy Exotic. How do you pronounce that?
Exergy. Yep, Exergy
Exotic. So what is the basis of that? Is it more so just for like breeding and selling, education? What's going on with that part of the stuff you're doing?
Exergy is it's funny that word. So my background's in HVAC and engineering and wastewater treatment plant engineering and stuff. I have my master's in engineering and I do marketing and a bunch of other weird stuff that has nothing to do with it. But Exergy is a thermodynamics term that is like, it's basically potential energy of heat. And that's why we call it that. Is it has to do with my background and it's kind of random and nobody knows what it means, so it works for me. But it's really about exploring the potential that animals have and the potential to be incredible pets, the potential to be incredible ambassadors of their species through education and outreach and conservation initiatives, just all of the different kinds of potential. And we do a little bit with everything. So we keep a lot of animals that a lot of what we have within our collection is stuff we're trying to figure out how to more successfully breed them in captivity. So because a lot of them aren't coming in from the wild, like sabu pythons haven't come in from the wild in decades. So there's just not that many, and we need to have more of them around if we want to keep seeing them. So it's a lot of how do we conserve these species within our hobby, and it's trying to breed them in that regard. It's less about trying to sell babies and stuff like that. I give most of my stuff away. I'm really bad at. If this was a business I needed to make money on, I shouldn't be the one running it, because I get excited about people who are excited, and I'm like, you should totally have this snake because it's cool and you think it's cool, so here you go. And then Erica's like, we should sell those, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, no, totally. So but like I just get excited about people's passion and being able to learn from the animals and spread that knowledge, and that's really a little bit more of what it's about, is just enjoying the animals and figuring out what makes them tick and how they work and how to better keep them in captivity, and finding other people that have that passion and sharing them with them. So that's kind of what Exergy is for us. Is it's really just all the animals we work with, and it kind of combines all the stuff we do with it.
I love that. So it's really just, all the stuff that you're doing, just educating, and just preserving the hobby. I love that. Now, I do got to ask, because like I said, you're a big dog to me. You're a big dog. Now I want to get your opinion. So Morph Market, it's kind of like Viv. They fairly new, kind of like VivTech.
Yep.
So I wanted to get your opinion on Morph Market. How do you think that the selling of reptiles is, and do you think Morph Market is beneficial to the hobby?
Oh, absolutely. I use it. I love Morph. I think Morph Market is great. It's kind of funny because as these things pop up, I look back and I'm like, man, I remember forums, and a lot of people don't even know what those are anymore because it's just Facebook groups now. But like being on the forums, talking to people and like trading things in chats in the background of it, and meeting up at a gas station parking lot at 11 o'clock at night because you both drove for 6 hours to meet. Like that's the stuff I remember. And then it comes up to, and then it was King Snake and his fauna classifieds and that kind of stuff. And then Facebook came in and it made it where everybody moved to Facebook. Well, then that was hard you can't do that anymore. So Morph Market came in. So there's always something out there that we're able to like sell animals, show people what we have available and other people have available. And I think it's really great. I really like what Morph Market's doing with, and I've talked to John, the owner, actually at Schaumburg. He was there, so we chatted for a while and talking about different things he can do with that to make it even bigger, to make it even better, creating, different databases, creating better places for better information to be stored, and creating it as more of like a one-stop shop for not only just buying animals, but also learning about them. So I like what he's doing with it, and I'm looking forward to the future of what that becomes.
Right. Now, I want to ask about Miss Erica. Because the name on Instagram, I was like, the name on Instagram, I said, this is powerful. I said, Zoological Vet Tech. I love that. So how long has she been a vet tech? I think you told me that earlier, but how long has she been a vet tech?
I want to say it's been, right now, she's not currently as a tech anymore. She's still certified, but she's working in a different field. But she practiced for 13 years, and some of that time was at the Brookfield Zoo. So... and then the rest of it was at an exotic specialty only clinic. She has never done dog or cat. She has only worked with exotics the whole time.
Oh, so she's got a lot of knowledge.
She like the books that people learn from in vet school. Like those guys at the conferences come ask Erica questions. Like it's so cool to be around and see like the first time I met Scott Stahl, who just rewrote the book, the Reptile Medicine Mater's book. And he comes up and he's talking to me and Erica, and he hands me this Cyclura book that Jeff Lem wrote. And he's like, yeah, I bought one. I bought two. I thought you might like it. It's the first time I'd really ever even met him. And I was like, that's cool. That's super thoughtful of you. That's awesome. And then he walked away, and Erica's like, yeah, he wants me to do something, so he's trying to kiss my ass by being nice to you. And I'm like, hey, I'm cool with it. I am cool with being the lower of the totem pole on this one. And letting...
Such bullshit. I did not say that. I did not. She's such a just knowledgeable, incredible person, and it's just absolutely awesome to. I learn more from her than I think anybody else. And the way we both. Okay, maybe she didn't say it exactly like that. It's close enough. No, but we both have a huge passion for animals and better husbandry and better care, and we go about it two different ways. I look at the natural history and say, okay, what are we missing that they have in the wild that they're missing here, or that we're not able to readily provide them, or why are they not doing as well in captivity as they are when they're in the wild? Given the fact that they have predators and diseases and they don't have veterinary care, they shouldn't be doing better in the wild. So what do we have to fix? And taking a look at their natural behaviors, natural habitats, and things like that to fix it. And then Erica looks at it from the veterinary side of, okay, I know that we see this animal all the time in the rescue and with these problems. What's the cause of that problem? And then how can we create something to fix that problem? And we take both those aspects to conquer these problems from two different avenues, but both with the same goal in mind of making better husbandry, getting animals to do better in captivity, and then making it a better experience for the keepers. Like, I want every little kid's first leopard gecko to be the start of all of this. Like, I want every little kid to turn into me and just totally annoy their parents. Like that, like get kicked out of school because you brought snakes in your backpack in your locker. Like, do those kind of things like I did. It's like every kid with that passion should just keep doing that, and I want to make sure that happens. And I think
we've done a huge disservice to reptile keepers with what's out there and what's available. And we've tried to make it way too easy and without installing the things within those products that people need to be successful. So we just give them the tools without the instructions really and the background and hope that they're successful. And unfortunately, we all know they're not. And I look at that as our fault, not their fault.
Right. Shout out to Janji Reptiles. Thank you for doing that. He just posted the link. Make sure y'all go check that link out, VivTechProducts.com. We got to support each other, man. That's the biggest thing in this hobby, man. Support each other, man. And we'll go a lot farther with support. Now,
and just for anybody that doesn't know, 10% of every single product that's purchased from us, it's built into all of our worksheets and our spreadsheets for pricing everything. 5% of the profit off the top gets donated to USARK and USARK Florida, and another 5% is being donated to a long list of in situ wildlife conservation initiatives such as Herp Conservation International, Turtle Survival Alliance, International Iguana Foundation, a lot of stuff like that. And it's coming to the website soon where when you check out, you'll actually be able to pick which one of those organizations you want your stuff to go to.
Man, that just blows my mind, man. Like talking to you, talking to you, I'm at work, but when I want to clock out on my lunch break and go to PetSmart and knock out all the bugs off the shelf and say, screw these light bulbs, I'm done with them. I'm about to knock
we can do better, and that's the thing. Like I did that with Zilla, and I tried to push that complete idea of we can do better. But the problem is that a lot of these. It comes down to the fact that a lot of these big manufacturers, majority of their products are sold for entry-level people at Petco, PetSmart, small pet stores, stuff like that. They're not really able to spend a lot of time and effort at anybody higher than that because we all become MacGyvers in the first place, and we start figuring stuff out, and we go buy stuff online and from Home Depot and make it work. And then it's a lot harder to sell to those people, and it's not honestly from first-time buyers to the next step of person who has 10 animals, there's a big drop-off there. We lose people in the hobby, so there's not as much retention totally. So they focus on that, and people get upset about that, but that's where I want them. That's where we need those guys. I want Zilla and Zoomed to spend all their time focusing on those guys and getting kids into the hobby and people into the hobby, and then I want to provide them the next level of innovation and technology so that they can do better. And those big companies can work on getting people into the hobby, and then when they get here, then we can take them and show them the whole new world of what there is. But we still need those guys out there doing that stuff.
Right. Well, you got my support. As soon as I get paid, I'm getting online ordering me a bulb. I'm sending you the receipt. I'm gonna say, look what I did. I want a bulb. Now, I got to put you, in. Before we go to the next question, I just want to say you're amazing, man. Y'all donating a lot of y'all proceeds to animal conservation and USARK, man. That speaks volumes. That's
me, and like I said, man, I just need to make a living. I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't care. Even when I ran Zilla, like when I told like close friends of mine what I actually made as a salary for what I did, trust me, you all think I make a lot more than I did. It's not. I don't need to make a lot. I just want to be able to make an impact, and that's kind of how Erica is too. So, we donate to every auction we can. We run a bunch of auctions to help people out. We're always looking for ways to give back, and all I need is a place to live and some heat and some food for our family. Like, I just want to be able to do that, and if I can improve the world around us, that's what we focus on.
I definitely appreciate that. For everybody that's just tuning in, this is Mr. Ryan. His lady's in the background. He's a big dog over at Zilla. They have started their own company, VivTech Products, making some very iconic products. Make sure y'all go check them out. And I got to put you in the hot seat, man. And your lady here, I hope I don't get you in trouble. The first hot seat question is, with you having such a cool collection of animals, I want to know, have you ever lied to your lady about the price of a snake? Like, baby, this is $100 and it was really $500.
No, I have never done that. No, we're pretty upfront about a lot of that. To be honest, not often. In the beginning, yes, I got told real quick where that was going to get me. And to be honest, it's a combination of collection. So, in all my past life and all my past relationships, reptiles were my thing, and the other person maybe liked them, maybe it was their thing too, but it was still kind of like I planned all the breeding, I knew all the background of the animals, I all the husbandry, everything was mine. They might help feed here or there, but it was really never their thing. But with Erica, this is absolutely a 100% partnership. What we're planning on, what animals we decide to keep or not keep. I mean, everything down to when they eat, what they eat, all of it. So, yeah, she's very involved, and she's actually better at. The nice thing is she's better at record keeping, but I know I have a bigger. She's good at the little details, and I'm a big picture guy. So it kind of works really well. I drive a big picture and the big vision that we're all chasing after, and she helps make sure that I don't totally be crazy and miss all the big details we need to get to that point.
Right. Now, you got to think about this one. You got to tell me which one and why. Lord forbid anything ever happens to VivTech products, but if VivTech products wasn't around and you wanted to work with reptiles and there was only 4 jobs, you got to pick one.
All right.
You prefer to work with Brian Barchett at Reptile, Prehistoric Reptiles with Jay, Nerd, or at Gatorland Savannah, and why?
Ooh, sorry, there's somebody here. Our dogs are going nuts.
Oh, take the call.
All good. You know what? Probably Savannah Bone. I think working at Gatorland and that stuff. It's I like everybody else, and they do their own thing, but they're all pet producers. They're all pet producers, and I appreciate that, and I love that. But we look at our animals a little differently. Every single animal we have is a pet, and we love all of them. But we're not just looking to make babies to sell, like just to fill a channel of animals that we're selling. We're trying to do more. Like, I don't want to keep an animal if what I learn from it won't add to the body of knowledge out there and help other people. Like, I'm never going to breed ball pythons. Enough people know how to do that. I can't add any value to the herpetoculture by breeding ball pythons. After I spent 11 years and finally got a clutch of eggs from my Savu pythons, one of the healthiest clutches I've seen out of anybody for a while. And I think between me and a couple other people, we might have it nailed down. That's exciting to me. That could bring a species that's just kind of always been on the fringe to be more popular, be around more. And they're incredible animals. So that gets me excited. And I think with Savannah and like the way she does at Gatorland and how there's a good bit in between there's a good bit of what they do there that kind of goes to the hobby and knowledge and working with keeping animals that are kept in captivity, but also showing the public conservation in the bigger picture. And I think that lines up a lot more with what we've done and what we hold passionate to ourselves. I think we'd get along.
Right. Shout out to Kerwood. He said he's right there where he at. He said he's gonna give me something. That's my buddy right there. Now,
oh yeah.
I want to know, with both of y'all, what is y'all favorite reptile?
Ooh, Erica's favorite reptile is gharials by far gharials, which is sucked that we couldn't make it to Crocfest in Florida last weekend because I would have went. It was for gharials, so it was all gharial stuff. I would have went broke. I would have had to sell the car to buy the stuff she needed. But at the same time, like, there was some incredible stuff there, some amazing art, and I totally wish I had got there and bought it all. No, that's hers. And for me, man, I am fascinated by so freaking many things. But one of the things that's been on my mind a lot in the last probably 5 years is scalyfoots. I wish I could work with scalyfoot. Which most people don't even know what that is, but it's a legless gecko from Australia. They're legless lizards, but they're geckos.
Right.
Yeah, they're just super cool. They vocalize like a gecko does. They look like a legless lizard with 2 little flippers by the back of their tail. But just a super unique animal. And I'm like, that's just something that I would love to work with more.
Right. Real quick, shout out to DG Reptiles, man.
The first call, it'll be back in stock within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Go onto that page, click the link to sign up for the email updates, and we'll do a big email blast the second they come back in. So every time we run out of stock, you're looking at potentially 2 to 3 weeks. We're hoping to get ahead of it, but at the beginning, it's going to be a little bit of delays as we get going. But once we get enough stock in hand, we should be good. So probably within the next 3 months, out of stocks won't be a thing anymore. But for now, we're going to be a little bit hand to mouth while we try and grow. Also, thank you, everybody, for the support and patience. I know it sucks to hear about the coolest thing in the world, and then we launch the website and you can't buy it. So, totally understand that frustration, but I promise we're getting stuff in as quick as we can.
Me personally, I love the fact that you sold out. That means you have a product people want. You know, you put it out, it's gone. You got to make more. That's a good thing. You never apologize for being out of stock. You're doing your thing.
Well, what was crazy is we got some UV readers, some UVB meters, and I thought, you know what, people don't care about UVB meters. You never see solar meters or anything like that at shows. Like, it's a big expense for somebody, and they'd rather just replace their bulb every 6 months or a year or whatever. But I think more people should have them. So I found one that I was able to bring in substantially cheaper than the ones that are available. And I only brought 8 to the Schaumburg show, just thinking, like, if we sell 8, I think that'd be incredible. But if we sell 2, I'd be surprised. And then out of the 3 bulbs, the lowest output one, the first call, that's the one that's for, like, every animal that's been said forever doesn't need it. So I'm also figured, like, that's going to be a hard sell. How am I going to get a ball python breeder to realize they could use UVB? Or why is somebody going to put this on their leopard gecko when everything says they don't need it and they'll be fine without it? So I figured that was going to be a harder one to sell. So I also brought less of that one in at first, and they sold out. They sold out at the show, both of them. Actually, the meters sold out in an hour. So, but what that ended up telling me, I sold more UV bulbs for ball pythons and crested geckos than I've ever sold for those animals in my entire life in one day. And it just showed me this really big push that people were listening to what we're saying. They were hearing the benefits of UVB and UVA. They were coming up and talking to us about, you know, hearing us or hearing somebody talk about it and then looking into it more and getting excited about the differences and how UVA can actually improve their animal's life even if they don't use the UVB. So it was really cool. It really kind of pumped me up even more because I'm just like, wow, that's just incredible that we're seeing that change in the hobby where it's starting to be less about how many cool things can you shove in a room, and now it's getting more about how insane can you make that thing's habitat. And that's what I want to see. I want the guy that everybody follows on YouTube to be the dude that turned his closet into a rainforest for his anoles. Like I want it to be like saltwater, where the guy spends $10,000 on a setup and then he puts a $50 fish in it. Not spends $50 or $10 on a Rubbermaid tote and puts a $5,000 snake in it. Like, I'd love to see it the other way around, and I think we're starting to see the hobby and trend that way. I think people want to do better, and that just fuels me even more to keep creating cool stuff that helps them do that.
And right there, Kurtwood said, people believe in you, man. Now, I wanted to shoot you an idea, man, and I feel like I could be, you know, because you're starting your own company. I want to be in charge. Like, contact me so I can be in charge of your commercial, and I got a good idea. Let's tell you that I got a good idea when you do shoot a commercial. What my thoughts is, we get Morgan Freeman to narrate it.
Oh yeah,
and it's in the beginning, God said, "Let there be light."
Yep.
And then
you know what?
With the light bulb.
Exactly. No, like, and that was the thing that Erica had said to me after the show. I'm like, it just really blows my mind that the lowest output one for stuff that doesn't need UVB is the one that's sold out. And she's like, you know what though? Those bulbs existed. Like, there's 2.0 bulbs that have existed and like full spectrum, whatever bulbs that have been out there, and nobody ever used them. And they were always just kind of put out there as like, you could put it's a full spectrum plant light or something. And they were never really pushed as like, hey, these give off UVA and UVB and it is beneficial to those animals. So we really promoted that because that's really what these are for. And by doing that, we created a market that didn't really exist. We created a product that didn't exist for a market that was asking for it. Without really realizing that I did that. Because to me, I was like, I know this kind of bulb already exists. But again, I realized that we kind of talk about them a lot differently on how your animals need this type of light versus, oh yeah, it'll grow some plants. So, and then gives you that feeling of like, it's not that necessary. So no, that's kind of like, I love that. I love that, you know, like, it's just cool. It's just cool to me.
Right. Now I want to talk about the lifespan of the bulbs, because for me, I have a huge collection. I have 10 animals, you know, but to have 10 animals and to you know, they need bulbs, you know, to be buying bulbs for your bulb to last 4 years. Do you know how many bulbs you're going to save? You're not going to have to buy? Like, that's just
so I did a cost analysis between using 160 watt mercury vapor
or a 70-watt par 38 halogen with our bulb, and the upfront cost is about $40 more. And then over the next 4 years, you save $400 in bulb and energy costs.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Listen to this, everybody in the chat. One of his bulbs, like let's just say you have one animal. Imagine how many bulbs, because I know for sure how many bulbs I go to PetSmart and buy.
Yep.
It just every time I go out, bloop, it's out. I go get another one. One of his, 4.5 years.
2-year warranty. So if it burns out, as long as it was not in a dual dome with a heat source, because LEDs don't like heat, but as long as it wasn't in a dual dome with a heat source and it didn't get too hot, it's a 2-year warranty. So if it goes out or something goes wrong with it in 2 years, I'll replace it for free.
That's wild. That's wild, man. You're doing your thing now. For this bulb, like it benefits every animal, right? You weren't like trying to direct it towards one animal, were you? Oh
no, every living thing, not only reptiles, including you guys, humans, dogs, cats, every living animal uses UVA and UVB. The only reptile I've found so far that was scientifically studied that doesn't actually synthesize D3 with UVB is, of course, ball pythons. Because ball pythons, that's why. But like everything else, corn snakes, rattlesnakes, all the lizards, monitors, everything else uses UVB. And the one thing I would say too is like people talk UVB, that's what we know, that's what's discussed. It's calcium absorption, it's vitamin D3, it's very important. You can supplement D3 and get away without having any UVB. Now, it's not the best, but you can do it. But those bulbs also give off UVA, and UVA directly affects the serotonin development in reptiles' brains. A lot of reptiles can see UVA, so they actually see a whole other spectrum that we can't see. And then it also changes it makes them calmer because it increases their serotonin, so you get more natural behaviors, more natural eating habits, better breeding habits, better circadian rhythm, more just natural instincts and things like that. So that's something that I tell people, you cannot replace UVA. You can't supplement the effects of UVA. And that is something that, like, for anybody who lives in a place where it gets cloudy or snowy or seasonally not amazing, people have heard of seasonal depression, or how you feel happier when you walk out and it's a nice, sunny, beautiful day, you feel good. But if it's rainy, cloudy, crappy day, you don't feel as good. That is the direct effects of UVA on your brain. So you're basically, by not having UVA in an animal's cage, you're causing them to be colorblind, and then you're also causing them to have live their life with seasonal depression.
Man, so much knowledge, man. Now, I want you to, and if you haven't, that's fine, no big deal, because I still want the bulb. But inspire us, man. Have you made any celebrity sales?
Not yet. No celebrities, but there's a lot of people that are big in the industry that they bought one, or they're asking me about them, and they're questioning it, and there's a lot of people kind of pushing back on it that, the science isn't there and this stuff, and there's always people like that. Our hobby, change is ridiculous. To try and get people to move forward is like dragging people through concrete. They're like, well, this is how I kept bearded dragons in 1985, and it still works, so I'm not changing. And I'm like, we're still using the same bulb Thomas Edison invented 150 years ago. I don't have the same cell phone I had 2 weeks ago, let alone a bulb from 150 years ago, when there's so many other cool options and things out there. So we're just trying to get people to push that forward. But yeah,
y'all are good friends with Dave Kaufman. He at least got one, right?
Well, see, he doesn't have one yet. I know, what a just lazy prick for not supporting us and buying our bulbs. What a jerk. I'll get him. I'll get him. No, he was down here and shot the episode with us, and he's one of many of our good friends that are waiting until we have a lot of stock so that they can get a couple. They're letting us sell all you guys first so that you guys get the benefit of getting this cool technology and being the first ones to get it. So to be totally honest, the only ones that me and Erica are using are the ones we're testing. We don't even have them on our whole collection yet. We're saving all of them for you guys, and when we have enough stock, I'll start using them.
Right. Now, I normally keep people about 45 minutes to an hour, so we're getting kind of close. I got a couple more questions, though. You can't tell, you don't have to tell us, but you don't have to tell us exactly what it is. but I feel like you have nailed this light bulb on the head. Are you gonna like stay with the light bulb? And I know you got the light bulb and the UVV reader and the herb bag, but is there something else down the line that you kind of got in your head?
There's an app coming. There's an app coming in the next couple weeks. And what that app will do is control your entire reptile room. Down to sensors, on-off switches, lighting. I'm not supposed to tell anybody because it's a big thing, but, we're going to put it out there soon anyway. But no, there's a lot of smart tech coming, and all incredibly reasonably priced compared to what's out there, including the fact that, like, through our app, you'll be able to, I'm just going to tell people, you'll be able to, like, actually sign up for some subscriptions for, like, you can have a live 24/7 security monitoring of your reptile room if you want. Or you can have a company that we're going to work with call you if your sensor's out of place. Like, or if, say, it's in your incubator and it has a range that it has to be in, and it gets out of range, but you're out of Wi-Fi, you're out of, like, data service, so you're not getting that notification. The company will call you and let you know, hey, is there something wrong with this? It's not reading correctly. You may want to go check on it.
Y'all hear? There's a reason why this man and his lady then started VivTech products, man. They innovators.
We're trying to find the places that we know the hobby could be better and find ways to make it better in a way that people can financially do it. And that's the thing that kills me. Like, there's already Wi-Fi sensors out there. Like, Sensor Push has one, and they've been out for a little while trying to do stuff with that. The sensor's $50, and it's Bluetooth. If you want it to be Wi-Fi, you buy a hub that costs $200, and that'll read multiples of them, and then that sends a Wi-Fi signal so you can get it on your phone. Our sensors and one sensor and one hub from them is $250. One hub and one sensor from us will be about $75.
I love that, man. I love that. Well, I kind of asked everything that I wanted to ask. This was an amazing interview. I feel like you and your lady are doing some iconic stuff, and I appreciate you for just sitting down and talking to me, man.
Dad, thanks for having me, man. Like, the whole thing is, like, me and Erica are just both stupid for reptiles. I mean, anything to do with them. I'm not a breeder. I'm not anything. I keep reptiles and I breed them because it's fun. We herp all over the country because it's fun. We work with zoos. We work with vets. We work with museums. We do a rescue. Anything that, if it has to do with a reptile, we are involved in it. We're working with the DNR, and Erica's actually running Eastern Massasauga surveys for the DNR. For the Herp Society. She's the lead on that one. So she was out at 4:00 in the morning at a field in the middle of nowhere on Saturday, waiting in the woods for the sun to come up to go find a possible relic population of endangered snakes. Like, that's what we do for fun. Like, anything we can do. And being able to be a part of this hobby and see all the amazing people in it and the cool things that are happening and be able to continue to be a piece of it, and on top of it to have the opportunity to guide it and guide it in the right direction and get people excited about moving in the right direction, that just fuels us even more. The more successful people are with keeping animals and learning about them, and the more we're adding to the body of knowledge that exists on how to keep them, the more excited the two of us get. So it's just it's a nonstop spiral, and we're just going to keep doing that. So
I love that, man. I'm watching y'all. The reptile community is watching y'all. Y'all movers and shakers. Like I said, I appreciate you for sitting down with me. I'm going to end this. Like I said, I like to keep it not too long, because if I ever want to get you to come back, you can say, hey, I got 30, 40 minutes to spare. Let's hop on with Derek. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. But before I end my interviews, I always shout out my reptile community that I'm a part of. So first off, shout out to Venom Proof Cages. They're some of the best cages out there. My Animal House, Iron Dog, Kurtwood, Cold Blooded Monstars, Reese's Pythons, Ball Python Love, Jose's Exotics, Desert Wolf Armory. It's so many of them. Not Lou, OSMR. A lot of good people that I'm friends with. Y'all make sure y'all go check them out. And last but not least, Ryan and Erica, VivTech products. They doing some amazing things. Let me see if I can find a link. Yeah, go to the link, subscribe, sign up. Make sure you get all their notifications, man. They're doing some real iconic stuff.
Follow us on social media, all that stuff. Yep.
Shout out to Kurtwood, Moto Danger Zone, Mood Over Miami, VivTech products. Like I said, the stuff they're doing is iconic, and you want to be a part of it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, when I get paid, I'm going to get me a bowl, and I'm sending this man a receipt so he knows I'm supporting him. I want to be like, yes, there's Reptile support stuff because it's iconic stuff. Don't leave. I'm gonna play us out. I want to thank you and your lady backstage. So I'm gonna take us out of here. And everybody in the chat, thank you for watching, man. This was an incredible episode. I had a blast. Let's go backstage.